Sorry about that. And the topic of this webinar is just dealing with decisions. I know early action, early decision results, most of them at least, might have come out already. And I know some of it might not be super, exciting. I think most of us here on our own team didn't have the most amazing experience in the early round. So we kind of want to give you concrete steps as to what you can do to kind of move forward and also just share our own experiences and help you get through this last few days, weeks of the college applications process. And before we begin, we again want to introduce ourselves. I'm Shuvi. I'm at Stanford right now. Don't know what I'm studying, but I think I want to go down the pre-med route again.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm at UCLA studying psychobio on the pre-med track.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm going to USC to study art, technology, and the business of innovation.
Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm at MIT studying computer science and cognitive science.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm going to UCSD studying molecular and cell biology.
Hi everyone, my name's Iris. I'm also at Stanford, also don't know what I'm studying, but leaning towards CS.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I'm at UCSD studying computer science.
Hi, I'm Nitin. I'm at UCLA studying computational biology.
Hi, I'm Swara, and I'm at UCSB studying biology right now.
And again, we want to kind of show you what we do. So we were basically founded in light of Black Lives Matter and all the protests that happened this summer. And we felt that, we are pretty privileged living in this area, having all these access to these resources, particularly college application resources, and college really is a life changer for most people, especially those from low income neighborhoods. So we kind of want to take the extra time that we had and the knowledge that we had having gone through this process to help you out. We imagine it is not the best time right now to go through the college applications process alone at home in the middle of a pandemic. So we want to help you out, but also give back to our community. And so everything that you donate in the form of these services goes directly to the NAACP. We keep nothing for ourselves, and it's all for, nonprofit usage. And now that we have the introduction done, like I mentioned before, we're going to talk about deferrals and what that really means. Nitin will start off.
Yeah, so if you applied early, you would know that the three different types of decisions you could have gotten were acceptance, rejection, and deferral. So if you got accepted, then it's a moment to celebrate and your hard work has paid off. So if it was early decision, make sure you withdraw your applications from other schools. And if it was early action, you could actually use that to cut down your list. Maybe you don't want to apply to as many safeties during the regular decision round. If you were rejected, that's okay, because rejection is always part of the process. There are plenty of other schools that are going to be just as good of a fit for you. So keep your eye on the future and don't try to get too deterred by that. And lastly, if you were deferred, this is the gray area, and there are so many different reasons why you could have been deferred. So number one thing is not to assume anything. Just try to continue to show your interest, and we'll talk about some of the steps you can to show that interest in this webinar.
Yes. So when I was going through this process, I did the exact opposite of what just Nitin just said, which is that I just assumed that this was a reflection on me and that I wasn't a strong enough applicant. I was deferred from all the early schools that I applied to. There were 3 of them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not getting into college. I literally had dreams, as I've mentioned in previous webinars, that I would not be going into college. But, in hindsight, I realized everything does work out. And most importantly, a deferral really is just a second chance at admission. It is somewhat annoying and somewhat disappointing for sure, because here you are going back to square one. It's like you've submitted your application all over again. That is actually how admission officers view it. But it is, somewhat better than a rejection, and that there are some steps that you can take to improve your chances. When I was deferred, I thought immediately that it is the same thing as rejection, but it is not. And there are many, many different reasons that you can be deferred. Obviously, we're not admission officers ourselves. We can't tell you exactly that these are the reasons that you particularly were deferred, if that's why you're here. But a lot of the times why schools defer applicants is because they just don't know how the regular decision pool will look like. Certainly with this pandemic, that doesn't help. The uncertainty is on the rise. And so they just kind of want to wait, they acknowledge your strength and how good you are as an applicant, but they just just don't know quite yet if they can make a solid decision on you. It also is a good way to kind of encourage those students who might have GPAs on the lower end to improve their grades maybe this last semester and send those in so that they can make a more concrete decision there. See that that student really is prepared for the rigorous coursework you're going to see in any college. And sometimes deferrals happen because what we see is like a pattern of giving preference to in-state applicants. I remember last year, a lot of the schools that people apply to in the early round is University of Michigan. And from our school, very few people got in. And I knew a ton of people from Michigan who got in. And so there are some state schools that are obviously going to give preference to their in-state applicants, and there's not much you can do to help with that. And I guess the main theme that we're trying to get you to understand and really internalize is that the school notices that you are a really good applicant, and also that you could possibly be a great fit for the school, but they just don't have enough information, and they need that little waiting time period from like when you submitted in November to when you get the results out in May, or not May, before May, to make a decision on you. Being deferred is not the same as being rejected. I wish someone had told me that. People did, but I'm here telling you to internalize it, is that you can get accepted in the regular decision round. You also can get rejected, but here you are essentially like, square one. So there are things that you can do to improve your chances.
So the question that a lot of people have once they get deferred is like, what are my chances to be accepted during RD, and how many people are deferred every year? And it's just really hard to give a concrete answer to that because every school is different and many don't like to disclose their discrete deferral statistics. So of course, we have a few here, but it's really hard to tell. So for example, last year, about 7,000 students applied to Georgetown EA, and only 11.7% were fully accepted. So their deferral rate was very high. Same for Yale, over half were deferred into regular decision, and MIT is kind of notorious for deferring most of their applicants. So again, it really does depend on what school you applied to EA, and you can't really base your chances off of what you think it might be because it does change every year and by school. So.
Okay, so next we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do if you were deferred. So what you will do depends on both you and on the school, because different schools have completely different approaches to handling the deferral process. So some ask for you to send additional materials, like a letter of continued interest would be an example, or even an updated resume or something like that. But some really prefer you not to send like an influx of materials because, they kind of feel like they have all of the stuff that they need to know about you. And so you want to make sure that you, as soon as you get deferred, a good thing to do would be to like read up on what their process is and what they like. And, don't unnecessarily send things that won't necessarily add or like show more context about you as an applicant, because it's really not going to change things a lot. And a lot of times, even if you do send a letter of continued interest, it's the stuff you've already submitted up to this point that's going to be reevaluated later. So don't stress too much about it, but, just read up on what that school's particular process is like. And then after that, make sure you just submit the stuff that you need to on time. And I think this is also a really good time to reevaluate and reflect on how you feel about the school yourself. Like, was it a school that you really cared about? Or is it a school that you maybe don't care as much about now? And you can sort of, just think about how you feel about that now, because this is a good time to sort of reevaluate.
So kind of in line with what Swara just said, the first step that we would recommend after being deferred is to really reevaluate like how the school fits into your goals and like how you really think about going to that school. So a couple of different things that you could be thinking about, like perhaps you were accepted in some other early schools and then maybe you would prefer those schools over this school that you got deferred from. And so in that case, it probably wouldn't make too much sense to go ahead with the deferral letter. However, if it was like maybe your ED school or your dream college and it still is, then it would be definitely a good idea to keep going. Definitely think a lot about what this school means to you, if you really want to go, why you applied, all of those kind of reasons that you like the school that you could put into your letter. And also think about how this fits in with the rest of your RD applications as well, because essentially this is kind of, like Shivi said, back to square one as part of the regular pool. So it's almost like another college on your regular decision list.
The next topic we will address is the letter of continued interest. Oops, sorry.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay. Oh, and also really double check what each college wants from you if you get deferred, because I know that different colleges want different things. Some let you submit supplementary materials like a letter of continued interest or like an extra research paper, but some of them don't want anything. So if they don't want anything, don't send anything because admissions officers are busy.